welcome to the 146th installment of Tell Em Alejandro, your number one place for sports, cars, video games, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Mr. Alejandro, tell him.
What you about to tell him, Alejandro?
I'm about to tell him about my New York Mets getting eliminated by the San Francisco Giants in the MLB wild card.
Tell him, Alejandro.
PA drinkers, my New York Mets have been eliminated from the playoffs in the year 2016, and it's sad, man. We had a one-game elimination versus the San Francisco Giants. Both teams were tied in the wild card, and they had to play against each other, baby, 1v1, to see who earns that spot in the playoffs to continue and compete for the World Series, baby. Unfortunately, my Mets lost in the top of the ninth. Conor Gillaspie hit a 3-run blast for the San Francisco Giants to win, and my New York Mets are eliminated, man. Check this out. The New York Mets, their starting pitcher was my man, Thor, Noah Syndergaard. He pitched a great game. He damn near had a no-hitter through the 5th inning, almost through the 6th inning, where it got broken up. My man's Noah Syndergaard stays throwing that gas, B. But the problem was he wasn't able to pitch the entire game, and we really needed him to pitch the entire game, because in this game, my man's Noah Syndergaard was going against a real goon. He was going up against Madison Bumgarner. If you don't know nothing about Madison Bumgarner, pay attention, because I'm about to put you on. Madison Bumgarner potentially is the best playoff pitcher in baseball history, and baseball has been going on for a long time, hundreds of years. So when you're going up against somebody like Bumgarner, you gotta bring your A game. Syndergaard lasted for 7 strong innings, 10 strikeouts, no earned runs, you feel me? But Bumgarner pitched a complete game, all 9 innings, with no earned runs, you feel me? And Syndergaard, one problem he ran into was his pitch count. His pitch count got up there, whereas Bumgarner was efficient with his pitch count. He was getting guys out with a small line of pitches early in the game, as opposed to Syndergaard. Combined with, remember when I said Syndergaard be throwing that gas? 42 pitches were 98 miles per hour and up. So you know he's throwing that cheese, and of course, you know, his arm is going to wear down faster than people who are throwing less miles per hour. So Madison Bumgarner and the San Francisco Giants move on. Where does this leave my New York Mets? Well, we got to start off with our best bat. We got to start off with my Cuban mans, Yoenis Céspedes. He's a beast. He's 30, turning 31, and he has an opt-out clause in his contract. Do I think he will opt out? Yes, I do think he will opt out. And this is a dilemma for the New York Mets, because Céspedes is going to want a long-term contract. I do not think that the Mets are willing to offer him a long-term contract. Céspedes will probably want 4 to 5 years. The Mets may try and offer him 3 years or less. So we'll see how that goes. I hope the Mets bring back Céspedes. Last season, the Mets went to the World Series, and Céspedes played a big part in that. We traded for him mid-season last year, right before the trade deadline. You feel me? His impact has been felt. He's a beast. So if we let him walk, we lose our best bat in the offense, and it changes everything. We bring him back, we still are in World Series contention. I'll tell you why. Because the New York Mets, in my opinion, have the best starting pitching in the majors. Not relief pitchers, not bullpen, but actual starting pitchers. Here's the problem though. Unfortunately, our starting pitchers consistently get injured. So, you know, the best asset is your durability, right? Durability is the best ability. Unfortunately, our young arms can never stay healthy, and this sucks because now the Mets are put in a situation where we may never get to see our young arms all together, all healthy at the same time. Even last season, one of our arms was down, my man Zack, you feel me? So last season, we really had to capitalize. We had to get that win, because you don't know when you're going to be back in the World Series. A lot of people be like, oh yeah, they're young, they'll be back. Well, look at the Oklahoma City Thunder back in the day. Remember, they had my mans Westbrook, KD, Beard, right? Everybody was like, yeah, they lost to LeBron, they'll be back. Never went back. So you don't know when you're going to get opportunities like this. You got to capitalize. Unfortunately, my Mets did not. I hope my Mets don't let any of these young pitchers go. However, I think they will. Specifically, I think they're going to let go of the Dark Knight. my man's Matt Harvey. I think he's the guy who's going to go because I feel like him and the Mets organization have a lot of friction. You feel me? So ultimately there's going to be a little bit of beef, and who knows? I think Matt Harvey definitely likes New York, and I think he's got his eyes on the New York Yankees. And maybe the Yankees got their eyes on him. Maybe he'll go over there. Who knows? Unfortunately, Harvey got injured again this year. That's not a good look at all, man. But those 4 pitches combined with Syndergaard give the Mets a great chance to win the World Series. And here's why. Because baseball is not really a sport built for the playoffs, in my opinion. You understand? It's really built for the regular season. The 162 games out of 180 days in the regular season. Now check this out. In the playoffs, if you have that dominant starting pitcher, you feel me? You got a great chance of winning. Not a lot of teams have several dominant starting pitchers. Most teams have one ace. They may have a second good pitcher or a third good pitcher, but they really have, good bullpens to hold things down. The Mets have 5 good starting pitchers. So if the Mets have to beat another team to 4 wins before another team beats them to that, they got a great chance because of their great starting pitching. Plus Céspedes is back, you feel me? Combined with some of the other goons, Spanish goons that the Mets got. We got to talk about my man's José Reyes, baby. I am excited that we brought him back this year. He left a few years back for some bread. I don't blame him neither. I was very upset back in the day when the Mets didn't bring him back because the Mets had the nerve to not even offer José Reyes a contract. How you not at least gonna lowball him? You feel me? At least be like, yo, we gonna pay you the low, and then he'll be like, nah, I'm Gucci, I'm gonna go somewhere else for more bread. Nah, we ain't even offer him nothing. So that had me tight. I'm glad he's back. He had an unfortunate situation, domestic violence. That's not a good look, and I'm not feeling that, Jose. However, he came back and he definitely brought mad energy to the Mets lineup, especially as the leadoff hitter. He was stealing bases. He was a solid third baseman. We needed a third baseman because David Wright was injured this whole season. David Wright has a chunky contract, and David Wright, to be honest with you, is looking like my man's Chris Bosh. David Wright is looking like his career is over, B. So we're going to see what's going on with that, man. Hopefully the Mets can continue to build on the team as opposed to start letting pieces go. Shout out to my man Curtis Granderson. Big time catching this game. Had me hyped. Had me feeling like we was going to get this W, son. But when Conor Gillaspie hit that home run in the 9th, I was like, damn, he hit it on Jeurys Familia. That's the closer. That was the man who's supposed to come in, close the door. And then in the bottom of the 9th, we had Céspedes leading off. I was like, yo, we going to do this. Once Gillaspie hit that homer, I was like, it's true, man. The season is done. There you have it, folks. Mr. Alejandro's recap of my Mets ending their season with an L. TA drinkers, what do y'all think about the San Francisco Giants' chances of moving on and succeeding? They've won several World Series in the past few years. So, hey, will they win a 4th? And the New York Mets, where will they go from here? TA drinkers, tell them in the comments.
Tell them.
Tonight's bow tie is brought to you by Ralph Lauren. It's blue and it's red. The Mets got put to bed. Tune in for more sports, cars, video games, fitness, and all that. Follow at Tell Em Alejandro to hear my immediate reaction to live sports events. Or if you want to hear me cover a certain team or topic, tell them outro music. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah. Gotta give a few more Mets shout-outs. My man's Asdrúbal Cabrera and my man's Wilmer Flores. We out here representing Venezuela, baby. Shout out to them. Gotta shout out Big Sexy, Bartolo, Colón, you know what I mean? And hopefully the Mets do big things. As far as the baseball playoffs, I'm watching Bautista versus the Goon Thor, baby. Let's get it.